Hello, welcome to my video journal. It is Monday, June 6th at 5:55 p.m. Eastern Time in the year 2022. I'm Mitch Miller. This is, as I said, my video journal. Today we're going to be talking about something that's going to, if I ever get the time, like if I were an actual artist that could sell his art pieces, his paintings, his photography, and could make time to write, the novel that I'm going to write would have this proposal in it. And it's about Donald Trump's second presidency and so on and so forth. But first, I want an addendum to the World Life Insurance Program. I forgot to mention, you qualify for the $1,000 coverage, life insurance coverage, if you are not killed in an act of war, if you are not murdered, and also if you do not commit suicide. So I believe this life insurance program will also not only bring some equality to the sexes and end some wars and conflicts, it will also bring more in-depth investigations into murder cases, especially if the governments of the sovereign nations enact oversee the insurance policies with the backing of, say, European and United States nations to help fund the program. So those are the three main things that you would not qualify for the $1,000 payout if it was a murder, an act of war, or a suicide. So moving on, I'm looking for a job, a job that's not in the embroidery shop, that legitimizes me somewhat before my run for President of the United States. I don't want to be the mentally ill, disabled guy that works in an embroidery shop and is now running for President of the United States. I'd rather be the government employee for 2 years, works for the UN. Ideally, I think a good fit for me in light of what I've been talking about would be to become a United Nations weapons inspector. If the United Nations hired me, I could personally reach out to foreign leaders with my peace treaty and a letter asking them to allow me to inspect their small arms. Rather than making the peace treaty public on my website, I could keep it among the top leadership of the world, and we could discuss it in person. I could fly to those nations. I could inspect and document some or all of their small arms, and which I'm fully qualified to do. I grew up with guns my whole life. I know how to work machines and guns. And make notes if they want to disclose how many of each small arms they have. That would be helpful to the cause. If not, if they just want to meet and talk about the peace treaty, that's fine too. So if you're a foreign leader or in an intelligence agency abroad, I kindly ask you to write to the United Nations. Let's make them an actual peacekeeping government, and keep them honest. Ask them to hire me as a weapons inspector, and that could be a legitimate position for me to have for a year or two before I run for president. He was a UN weapons inspector, flew around the globe, meeting with leadership to work on a peace treaty that he then made public later in his campaign. So today I want to talk, and this might be the last video for a while. I'm going to do my podcast on Wednesday probably. So I want to talk about a program, an anti-terrorism program that's been in my head for a long time, involving college and university employees, staff, faculty. It's something that was going to be in my book. In my book novel Femme Party, my wife Hillary plays a very minor role. In the new novel Consultant, she would have this program as kind of her pushing, driving force throughout the story. So what it is so we don't have any children. We don't plan on having any children. A lot of people in higher education, a lot of more educated people have chosen not to have children or to wait a long time before they have children. But part of their benefits for a lot of colleges and universities is that their children can go to college for free or next to nothing, or just pay taxes on their credits. So what I'm suggesting as an anti-terrorism program, and what my wife in the book puts together, she organizes the female employees of the University of Pittsburgh, and they want to use their benefits, and then what they're doing is trying to work with the University of Pittsburgh to allow them to reach out and basically adopt an adult female from a foreign nation to go to college for free. They adopt them. Some of them even board them in their own homes. But the anti-terrorism part comes in, where they specifically are going to reach out to a lot of underdeveloped nations, and but any foreign nation where a woman has become injured or disabled in a factory accident. So some kind of safety conditions possibly weren't up to par. The woman lost a limb, was injured, was blinded, was burned, and the idea is that these University of Pittsburgh women want to adopt them, put them through a 4-year college education for free using their benefits. And the idea is that if you bring these people here, they'll be able to tell their story. We don't exploit them and put them on 2020 and Dateline, but they can person to person tell their stories, and maybe get a write-up in the college newspaper or something like that. But more importantly is that we don't exploit them and put them all over the media and blast the country they came from for low safety conditions. They just talk to other university people and talk to the people around them at the grocery store and stuff, and tell their stories. And I think this works for anti-terrorism in 2 ways. Number one, more people in the United States will be aware of the conditions that people face when they make our household goods and our clothing and things like that in the United States, that these corporations send off and keep out of sight, out of mind. It'll bring it close to them, and they'll have to reconsider and maybe pay above and beyond what they normally would pay for a safely made garment of clothing or product. Number 2, it calms tensions internationally, because these women were injured. They were going to be scorned probably for the rest of their life. If they can research the company they work for and find connections to the United States, they may be angry at the United States, pass that anger down to children, pass it on to other people in their society, that this happened because of the United States, basically. So it works twofold. We give them a full education and allow them to return to their country and work from the inside to change the conditions, to change the way things are, to become entrepreneurs themselves and have businesses with better conditions, so on and so forth. So I believe this starts at the University of Pittsburgh in the novel. then it moves on to an entire country movement for every university and college. And basically, every 6 years, a female college employee can adopt a woman from a foreign nation. So they can adopt them. They get through the program in 4 or 5. They get through the undergraduate or graduate degree in 4 to 5 years. There's a buffer of 1 year where they're not taking advantage of their benefits granted to them, as a little leeway for the universities to recoup some of their money. But hypothetically, a woman could have 13 children, one after the other, and there could be multiple children going to the university for free. So I think a 6-year buffer that allows them to adopt 5 or 6 foreign women who have been disabled or injured in their career, if they choose not to have children. And we could work on other stipulations. If they have children, still be able to adopt a foreign person. So that's kind of my idea for an anti-terrorism program involving university employee benefits. And what I'm hoping is, if I run for the President of the United States, I'm hoping that I can talk my wife Hillary, who I believe will stay with me if I become President of the United States, even though she says she won't, convince her for that to be her program for the First Lady, her developmental program. Every First Lady takes on at least one kind of humanitarian program, and I'm hoping that she'll agree to do this one, but maybe she'll come up with a better one. I don't know. This is what I would suggest to her, and she can look into other avenues, and do her First Lady thing if I become president. But that would be my kind of suggestion for her. And if she doesn't choose it, I would still try to enact it in other ways, because I think it's a good anti-terrorism strategy, and I think the universities and colleges can afford to put this into effect, and it involves the employees coming together and developing this program, using the internet to reach out for qualified individuals. So that's it. This might be the last video for a while, so I'm sure I'll come up with more to say, but thanks for watching. I know it's hours, maybe days of video that I've recorded on this computer. It's a lot to get through. I'll have to go back and revisit some of them so that I can remember some of these ideas. But yeah, if you can give to the GoFundMe for my new project, the Traffic Magnets, that would be great. My podcast is going to be about that. If these videos ever get out, I believe my artwork will be worth a decent sum. So if you'd like to buy art pieces from me, I'd appreciate it. That would help me be autonomous and not have to work at the embroidery and screen printing shop. I could be self-employed, pay my taxes, and still get off of the disability payments in the next 5 months, but be able to be self-employed again, selling my artwork at the very least. If not, I'd love to work for the United Nations as a peacekeeping person and discuss the best way to deploy my peace treaty and fly to interesting areas and inspect small arms. I think I'm fully qualified to do it. So write to your local United Nations or your local government. Like I said, I'll work for a foreign government to inspect weapons or inspect vehicles to see if their autonomous or semi-autonomous features are dangerous. Thanks for watching, and I'll say, just for prosperity, posterity join me next time.